I know this thing still works. And remixing the famous songstress Aaliyah, it's been a long time. I really shouldn't have left you without a dope Section 240 video to watch. But don't worry about that, baby. I'm back. Now, a whole lot of things have been happening since the last video I posted. So let's talk about it after the intro. Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Bonafide and this is Section 240, a channel all about the Tennessee Titans, but from a fan's perspective. Now, as I said before, a whole lot of stuff happened at St. Thomas Sports Park. Now, we're not gonna talk about everything that happened at St. Thomas Sports Park, but because that would make the video just way too long. And I know you don't wanna watch a 20-minute video. So we're just gonna hit on some of the big things that happened this offseason. And what better place to start than talking about Brian Callahan and the new coaching staff. Now, the last video that I was working on, and I was about to upload, but then, I took a little hiatus, vacation, life happen, was Brian Callahan being hired as the new head coach. Now, if you watch my previous video, I talked about Brian Callahan being in that tier 1 of coaches that we wanted to hire here in Tennessee. So he was in my tier 1. And it's obvious that Brian was in tier 1 with Rand and everybody else at and Miss Amy and everybody else at Titans, on the Tennessee Titans organization, because they didn't even let that man leave. Now, the man was eager to get a job as his first head coaching position, so I get it, man. But he chose us and we chose him, and now he's here. So he had a big old presser announcement. I think you can find it on the Tennessee Titans YouTube channel. I'd probably watched it twice, but and there's been like plenty of stories and articles and things like that to let you know about Brian and who he is, especially given that we're getting so close to the draft. Now, we all know here at Section 240, we are some stacking the inbox stands. So you already know that the best article that came out was the one that I'm gonna drop it in the description, but it came from Stacking the Inbox about the hiring of Brian Callahan. So it was his candidate profile. Zach went into depth about it. So if you want to get up to speed on who Brian Callahan is and what we should see out of the Tennessee Titans, that's the article you need to read. Now, obviously, there's other articles, but I think that's required reading. Now, Zach went into great detail about Callahan, his resume, and what he can bring to the Titans. Now, when I looked at the introductory presser and his resume and everything, he really freaking killed it. To the point where I think Rand calls him Callie now. So that's his new nickname, you know what I'm saying, Callie. And he said that Brian was able to articulate who and what he wanted as a football team, making it easier for the scouting staff to kind of get who fits Callie. So they're kind of like working together. Now, when Rand was in the presser, man, he dropped a banger. Let me tell you something. He dropped a banger of a tweet. He not a tweet, but a comment. He said that him and Callie are hunting. He said, no, let me correct it. He said, hunting at the same time isn't the same as hunting together. And under Brian Callahan, they're going to be hunting together. Now, I know Rand probably saw the tweets about everybody in the new power structure and all that stuff, because they made a whole bunch of changes after Vrabel was given the boot, which kind of put Rand Carthon in this kind of like top tier position. Now, I know he saw that, but he said in that presser, let him go ahead and shut that noise down. He said, and I feel like when he did that, it was probably like a little subliminal shot at the previous regime. But throughout that press, which, hey, look, I ain't got no problem with it, man. Hey. But Callahan went on to talk about, how he wants the team to look. He said he wanted Nissan Stadium to be feared, which is something that we always want, because I always see the fans talking about it on Twitter or Facebook, how, when the team comes in, they're always their fans, they're always here. But he wants to give us that real home field advantage, things like that. And, he said he got caught up with Will. He's familiar with him, and he's looking to build that relationship. The normal coach speak, stuff like that. And he answered the question that everybody was asking was, is he going to be calling plays for the Tennessee Titans? Yes, Brian Callahan is going to be calling plays for the Tennessee Titans. Now, he hired an offensive coordinator, last name Holtz. I can't remember his name. I'll put his name somewhere down here, but he hired Holtz. And then he went on the radio and he had all these interviews with local mass media and like how he didn't want to go anywhere else but after he visited Tennessee. He, from my perspective, this is a vastly different feeling than it was with Mike Vrabel. It just felt different. Even in some of the doggone pressers that we've been having with Brian and with Rand, and look, even Chad Brinker made an appearance last week. They gave him the podium, so he has to, I think this is vastly different. Now, hey, Mike had to do, work. We were a bad team, things like that. But, it's just sometimes things get old and you need something new. You need that new thing to come out. So, funny thing is that when you watch the presser of Callahan, you can also probably find the Mike Vrabel presser that was probably when he first got hired. And when you watch them side by side, two totally different things. So I'm not even gonna really talk about that no more and things like that. It is what it is. I do know Brian took a couple of weeks to kind of get his staff together. We got Denard, he's our new defensive coordinator. And you can probably figure out the rest of this on the Titans website. I ain't trying to make this a long video, but the real kicker is we got Bill freaking Callahan. Yes, Bill Callahan is now our offensive line coach. Now, if you've been following me on Twitter or you follow me on Twitter for the past couple of seasons, you know I had a disdain for everything offensive line coaching. Keith Carter was terrible, and Jets fans are finding that out now, that Keith Carter is terrible. And then we had this dude named Jason Hardeling. I don't even know if he really knew what he was doing. He didn't, because the offensive line sucked. I'm not gonna blame that all on him, because John Robinson didn't leave us new good players or whatever. But anyway, so we got that. But Bill Callahan been on the team. I think that is a really, really good indicator of what our offensive line is gonna look like, because he was able to, wherever he's gone, he's been able to work wonders. So, hey, I'm thinking that whatever he's able to do, that he did with the Browns, like I think I heard Charles Davis in a little interview, like a pre-draft interview, talking about how Bill Callahan was able to take a former right tackle from Alabama and turn him into a left tackle, and we see how that worked out for them. They, basically playoff team, in that regard. So can he work his magic here? I don't know. We got a lot of offensive linemen. We wasted a lot of draft capital on offensive linemen, so we don't know. Maybe Bill Callahan can work some of his magic, man, and make our offensive line even better. All right, but look, I'm high on it that Bill is here. I think that's probably one of the most, after Brian Callahan and bringing his offensive scheme here, bringing his dad here is like one of the biggest acquisitions that we have. We're gonna talk about more about some other acquisitions, but I think that was the biggest one that we saw here. So let's go ahead and talk about it. The departure of Derrick Henry. Now, the last game of the season, Derrick gave us a big thank you to the fans at the last home game, and it basically kicked off the end of the road. Now, me personally, I held out hope, and I lost $100 to football and never F words in the process. Yeah, it kind of hurt my pockets, because I thought he would have been re-signed with the team, and I think, I feel like the discussions happened, but it was probably all but over. Derrick ended up signing with the, I don't even really want to say this name on my channel, but Derrick ended up signing with the Ravens. Oh, God. So yeah, he signed that. So now oh God, wait a minute, just my stomach. Whew, God, I hate the Ravens. So he ended up signing with them on a deal, and now our backfield looks totally different. I mean, yeah, we all can see the writing on the wall. Had Vrabel remained the head coach, you can almost guarantee that Derrick was going to be back. But we hired Brian Callahan, and there was offensive, change in the philosophy, how offenses work. I don't think he fit here anymore. You can fool yourself into thinking the same thing, but I've come to the realization he probably wouldn't do that. Now, I still think he has a lot left in the tank. I think that he's more than capable of, producing in Baltimore. And, I believe the offensive line was a big culprit in leading to him not being as effective as he was once before. We'll see how that turns out for Baltimore, if their offensive, run first game, changes anything up, having him up there with Lamar Jackson. All right, but like I said, at the end of the day, Derrick's going to come back. He's going to sign a one-day contract, and he's going to retire a Tennessee Titan, and he's going to go in the Ring of Honor in the new stadium, and he's going to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame as a Tennessee Titans. So don't think that you're not going to see a large number of Derrick Henry jerseys around Nissan Stadium. I got 2 of them things, and I might get another one. So don't even worry about that. They're gonna be cheap now too, because he's not here. So yeah, I'm gonna give me a few more Derrick Henry jerseys. So I'm the only thing that really kind of sucks is that we weren't able to see him reach the Super Bowl in two-tone blue. So that kind of sucks for us. Now let's talk about this free agency. Okay, all right. Now Rand said him and Brian wasn't hunting at the same time. They was hunting together. All right. So as soon as free agency kicked off, man, they started hunting. All right. Now we lost Sean Murphy-Bunting, Danico Autry, which is a surprise, especially him coming off a career year. We lost Aziz, and then we lost Derrick in free agency. So we needed to hit the ground running. And man, did we not start off free agency with a bang by agreeing to terms with Morgan Cox. Now I know you're probably asking, who? Morgan Cox is the long snapper, So I in jest. But we weren't done. We weren't done. We brought back NWI. We brought back Gibbons. We brought back Chestnut, and we brought back Nick Folk. All right. We signed Mason Rudolph to kind of give us some competition for the backup quarterback spot. That's going to be a whole nother video this offseason, is whether or not this is Willis's last chance. But, given the words that Rand talked about and signing Mason Rudolph, Willis going to have to work, all right? Now, and we picked up Kenneth Murray. And I think the jury is still out on him. I'm not so sure about that one. And then we brought in Sadiq Charles and Leroy Watson on the offensive line and Sebastian Joseph Day on the defensive line. I mean, some really exciting picks here, you know what I'm saying? I'll just play. So, obviously, we did more than that. Way more than that. Now, the first big signing that we did was we got Tony Pollard from the Dallas Cowboys. Now, when we signed Tony Pollard, it was apparent that the offense was going to really need to feature Spears and Pollard. So, they're going to be a dynamic duo out of the backfield. So we're not going to be able to rely on one thing. And I think that also goes better with our offense because, we're not going to really be able to, come on, man. Y'all know how it was. When Derrick was on the field, we were probably going to run the ball. When Derrick came off the field, you knew we were probably going to throw the ball. I think now that predictability, it's been a minute since I made a video. That predictability is going to be gone when it looks in our offense because they're kind of similar backs that can both do kind of the same thing. Now, we got rid of the bouncer, club bouncer, that was our center, and we got an actual real center, Lloyd Cushenberry from the Broncos. He started like 17 games last season and played in like 99.7 snaps for the Broncos. Now, he mentioned that the reason why he came to the Titans was because Bill Callahan was now the offensive line coach. So, we had some offensive signings. Then we got Cushenberry, things like that. So we had to focus on the defensive side right now. And man, look, they immediately focused on building up the cornerback spot because they signed Chidobe Awuzie. Awuzie. I'm gonna just call her Awuzie from the Bengals. So we definitely gonna be better on Sunday. We won't have to look at Christian Burnt Toast Fulton at cornerback no more. Now, this was a good and decent haul in free agent for us, especially for a team that most consider in a rebuild mode. But hold up, wait a minute. Rand and them wasn't finished. They went in and scooped up Calvin Ridley to put him, he a Titan now. Now look, this came out of nowhere. When I saw that we copped him, it was a shock to me because I didn't even think we were in the running at all for him. Now look, I've seen Ridley cook us in person. Now you put a healthy, you put a healthy Calvin Ridley with a healthy DeAndre Hopkins, man, shawty, let me tell you something. We might be cooking with grease here. All right, now. So, because, like, it's almost like Brian is trying to kind of reduplicate what he did in Cincinnati here. Because you look at DeAndre Hopkins with Jamar Chase, and then, you look at Calvin Ridley with T. Higgins, and then you go find another wide receiver that can be your Tyler Boyd. Now, I'm not saying that these players are all on the same, level or athletic ability, but you can kind of see where it's going. You got a good quarterback with a big arm that's accurate, throwing to these, good wide receivers. And like I said, Will can and will, no pun intended, throw that thing down the field. You know what I'm saying? So now you're looking at, when you look at the offense, you got a Tajay Spears and or a Tony Pollard in the backfield, and then you got DeAndre Hopkins on one side with a Calvin Ridley on the other side with the solidified offensive line and a Will Levis. Man, we're looking at an offense that is completely different than what we had before. Now, if you saw this, you'd be like, hey man, this was a great free agency haul. I think somebody would have gave us a B-, you know what I'm saying? But then we went out and signed, traded for L'Jarius Sneed from the Chiefs, a bona fide shutdown cornerback. Now, I don't even need to say nothing else. The man is a Super Bowl winning cornerback, you know what I'm saying? And look, it was so many smoke and mirrors and things like that. Man, look, let me tell you something. Rand was out there cooking, man. Now, I didn't even think when I said I didn't think we were in the running for Calvin Ridley, I had no clue we were in the running for L'Jarius Sneed. Then boom, the man is here. So this offseason, you know what I'm saying? I'm giving it. Now, you said, McLean, you Bonafide, you all hyped about this. You probably saying, Bonafide, you're all hyped about this. So I'm giving it, what grade are you going to give the offseason? I'm probably going to give this offseason a B+. And the only minus thing is that there's some other players, like I think Marcus May is out there, Simmons, that, we needed at the safety position, and we really didn't add to the pass rush. So, are we really counting on Weaver and Arden Key to be those pass rush guys, things like that? Given that, all the other teams, and Danico went to Houston, and they already had a good pass rush, and now Danielle Hunter's in Houston, and then you got, Josh Allen in Jacksonville. So we didn't add to our pass rush. Now, I'm nitpicking here because it was really a good draft. Now, the only one of these signs that really left me confused, and I mentioned it earlier, is Kenneth Murray. He wasn't really an outstanding linebacker. He really athletic, but, is he going to be Rashaan Evans 2.0? I don't know, man. I don't know. So, if you're watching this video, the draft is probably later on today, or it's going to be tomorrow, depending on when you're doing it. And if you've been living on a proverbial rock and not following the Tennessee Titans, or you went on a sabbatical like I did, ain't no judgment for me. Everybody need their rest. But we got the 7th overall pick, and unless we trade it, and a lot of rumors are coming out that we're going to trade it, but I really don't see that happening unless some pieces aren't there. And we all know that we need a left tackle like people in hell need ice water, all right? And if he's there, Joe Alt is probably going to be the lock at number 7 for us. Now, I know we all heard the reports about Malik Neighbors and maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. being there and things like that. I really don't think that those are options for us unless Alt isn't there and we stay in the 7th pick. Now, again, stacking the inbox. They've been dropping major heat. I'm going to include the link, and I don't know if you can watch it unless, or look at it unless you're a subscriber of Stacking the Inbox. So you should really subscribe. But they dropped a draft book and a draft guide so you could cram right before the draft, so that when you're having conversations with your buddies, you don't look like an idiot because you didn't know this player and what his strengths and weaknesses were. Don't just go off of combine stats that you saw. All right, get yourself educated. Read the draft guide. Get yourself educated. Be smart. Be a smart guy. I want smart Titan fans. All right, so read that. I'm gonna drop that link in the article too. But I think it's gonna be Joe Alt. Now I see these people saying J.C. Latham if Alt isn't there and if we trade back and things like that. I'm really gonna say it's really gonna be an interesting, it's gonna be an interesting couple of days here to figure out how we're gonna get pieces to add to the Tennessee Titans. So, like I said, hopefully we can add some more weapons. Hopefully we can add some weapons on the pass rush because we need that. But like I said, tomorrow's the draft, so we're gonna find out by the beginning of next week. We're gonna know who we drafting. They're going to be here and they're going to be at the facility. And we're going to be dropping videos, giving my grades on all the draft picks. And I'm going to be basing a lot of that off of the Stacking the Inbox. So I have homework this weekend to do to make sure that everybody's up to date. All right. So in closing, I think that is everything that happened in the past couple of months. And I'm excited to see what we got in store for these new versions of the Tennessee Titans. It's been a while, man. It's been like almost six years since we've seen somebody say exotic smash mouth. Oh, I ain't want nobody to throw nothing at me. But yeah, you know. So it's gonna be interesting. And yes, you're probably asking yourself, we are still on the road to 1K, and we still giving away the throwback Oilers jersey when we reach 1K. All you gotta do is be a subscriber to the channel, man. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And share this channel to your fellow Titans fans, because like I always say, baby, there's plenty of room in the section for us all. Tighten up.